Hi everybody, Kristen Morgan here again, founder of One Hungry Dietitian, here to talk about a topic that I was asked about on my Facebook page. It's a common situation that everybody encounters when it comes to eating and staying on track, and the topic is exactly that. It's how to get back on track after a splurge. This is a tough one. I don't have a magic answer, but I can tell you what has worked for me and what I've seen has worked for my clients in the past. And, we've all had those days where we ate more than what we needed, more than what we probably really wanted. You've been eating well for days and you're feeling really good about what you're doing, but then you go to that party and the food looks so good, and the next thing you know, you're eating, and you've eaten so much, and you feel like you've ruined everything, and you're frustrated, and heck, why even start the next meal? I'm just going to eat cruddy for the rest of the day, and it becomes kind of like a vicious spiral. Why even eat that healthy dinner? It's like everything else is already screwed up. So somebody hand me the ice cream and hand it to me stat. So it's definitely can slip down that slope pretty quickly. And this negative self-perpetuating cycle, it'll continue for days and days and days until the next thing you know, you've gained 10 pounds, and all the effort, all the blood, sweat, and tears have pretty much been squandered, and you're left right where you started and even in more despair. So you all know exactly what I'm talking about, I'm sure. I mean, it's depressing, and this has happened to me many times, and I still fight with this. But I think the most I've ever gained back before regaining control was maybe 15 pounds. So I was fortunate enough to be able to rein it in before it got too out of control, but I don't know, it's definitely frustrating. So it's taken me a lot of years of practice and trial and error to figure out what actually I can do in situations like this to not let myself fall back into what I used to do and what I didn't like for myself. And to be honest, it's all in your mind. 9 times out of 10, you are the only person that's telling you that you failed. Honestly, we are our own worst critics. The guilt we feel after we have a heavy meal, it's usually self-inflicted. We feel bad about ourselves. My honest number one biggest piece of advice, that if you can conquer this, you're going to go leaps and bounds forward in how you manage your eating. And that's really to stop the negative self-talk. I could write books and topics and lectures on the idea of removing the negative self-talk from your daily efforts. The first thing you need to do when you do have a negative thought, like, oh, I ate so bad, you need to stop. You need to stop what you're doing, and you need to reframe how you're thinking. So what is reframing, Christy? What are you talking about? This isn't calories. This isn't food and dieting. Well, this is an important component. It's controlling how you think. So, for example, say you have the thought, I ate so much, I'm a failure, all my efforts are ruined, what's the use in even continuing this? What are you going to think? If you tell that to yourself, and you tell it to yourself over and over and over, what are you going to believe? You're going to believe that you're a failure and that your efforts were ruined. That's not what we want. The more you tell yourself this, the more apt you're really going to start to believe it's true. We may not believe it's actually true. We know, most of us, or some of us know we're not failures, but the more we hear it, the more we're going to believe it. And it becomes a vicious cycle. So tell me what would happen if, instead of getting down on yourself like I just was, what if after you splurged you said, wow, I really ate way more than I should have? But you know what? That's okay, because it happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. But the difference between me and everybody else is that I know I'm not perfect, and I know that my next meal can be better. And besides, no one ever gained 10 pounds from eating a Big Mac and fries. I can do this. I can get back on track. I know this may sound a little kumbaya and such, but honestly, it's all about the mindset. If you tell yourself that you failed, you're going to believe that you failed. But if you tell yourself that you had a little hiccup, but you're back on track, you just may start to believe this too. So, I mean, give it a try sometime. Next time you have a negative thought, try to reframe it and go a little bit easier on yourself. Now, for some of you who need something a little bit more concrete than that to get back on track, there are a few other little things that you can do, okay? For example, track your food for a couple days. If you feel like you need to put it in writing to get an idea to help you focus yourself on getting back on track, that's totally fine. If you need some accountability, by all means, write some things down, okay? For many people, it helps to put things back into perspective when you do something like this. Now, other thing, stay on your normal exercise routine. If anything, it's most vital right now to burn off those extra calories. Because a lot of times you eat too much and you say, well, what's the point in working out? You know, I've ruined everything. Anyways, again, stay with your normal routine. You'll feel better. I promise. You'll feel better afterwards than if you hadn't exercised. I promise. Just give it a go. And for God's sakes, please, 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 I'm begging you, please avoid the scale. Avoid the scale. Most splurge meals are heavy, dense, and full of salt, and that in and itself could make you gain weight overnight. I mean, these meals are high in salt. They'll make you retain water, which, you know, it makes you feel heavier. It makes you heavier. I mean, I've fallen into this trap before where I stepped on the scale the next day after a huge, meal, and I thought, oh, let's see what the damage, and I was like 4 or 5 pounds heavier. I mean, that's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I know I did not eat 14,000 to 17,000 calories in my meal last night. I didn't gain 4 or 5 pounds. There are other things going on here, so please avoid the scale. It's only going to sabotage your efforts. Okay, so in summary, it's all about the mindset. Try to change your negative thoughts into positive thoughts. It takes practice. It takes time to believe yourself. It took time for you to beat yourself down, and it's going to take time for you to build yourself back up. So stick with it. If you need somebody that you need to talk to or just tell your successes to, please, if you want to tell anybody about a failure you had and you just want to tell the world or tell somebody that you want to get back on track, please email me at ohd@onehungrydietitian.com or post on my Facebook page. Just tell me and let me know. I would love to hear from you guys and how you get back on track. And if there's anything I can do to help get you back on track, let me know. Let's share with each other what works, what doesn't, because everybody experienced this. So the more we know, the more successful we can be. So I look forward to your comments, and we will talk soon.